myself. It is 5:02. Are we Are we German enough to get started, or are we giving this another minute? Faisal also joined us. Happy to have you
Hello,
aboard.
Faisal.
So we are 16 people deep. Leon also joined. Thank you, Leon, for joining us. Today, you're not the only Austrian. I saw that you came through Niels, that Niels tagged you that you should attend today's webinar. And so Austria is well represented today. Always good to have the Austrians on board, to have some Manner and some Williams Berner Schnaps. Then, let's see what the latest... Christos is also there. Fantastic.
Yasura Christara, as always.
So Pixel is not that experienced with the Unreal blueprints, so therefore he's curious on how his front-end skills will plug into Unreal.
Easy, no worries.
What?
We will go into the basics and you can take it from there. But again, if you have questions, guys and stuff, reach out on Discord.
Yes.
For a quick chat or even a quick call to unblock you.
Good. So then, depending on well, thank you all, by the way, for being so talkative in the chat. This makes everything so much more enjoyable for us, and obviously more productive for you. Because the more personalized we can make things today, the more we can actually solve your specific issues. So keep them coming, and then once we are out of comments, we just get started with the presentation. Well, first of all, some housekeeping, I suppose, but I feel like for this specific group, I think the housekeeping is not that urgent. So Faisal is a bit of a beginner here, so he's definitely excited to attend more webinars. Well, fortunately, we are organizing a whole bunch of them, so we are in the right spot. And he wants to learn more about what can be achieved with Unreal. So I think today is a perfect webinar for you. Today, I think, is a little bit more beginner-friendly than last week's or last webinar. So I feel like last webinar was a lot more about, okay, you already have something nice, but you want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, it was about the technology of NVIDIA DLSS, integrating it and setting it up. And today is purely about our own template, which is a 2-year plus development on our end, and we give it for free to enable people start pixel streaming faster. I will talk about the scope, what was the main reason building it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, today is a deep dive on our template.
Perfect. So, Faisal, please also, I will link to all of this in the chat. That's what I do when I wait for Manolis to finish the presentation, if you want to call it like this. Because I will be spamming the chat. That's my job here today. So we have an entire webinar also about DLSS 5. 4, sorry.
5 is not yet released.
I'm just excited. I feel like, we work fast, NVIDIA gets to work fast. They got to show off that they really are worth that stock price, right? Yes. So then Leon is here because he's doing a school project, a web app where you can configure a prefab house with Unreal. So I think today is also a perfect webinar for Leon here. And Gerald is a UE5 developer who's looking for a front-end developer. So anyone who missed a pixel, if you can help out Gerald.
There you go.
I feel like, we are such fantastic matchmakers.
Yeah, there you go. It's a perfect match, I guess.
So also AK3D does what Leon is doing for a school project. He does it for a living. So you guys try and share email addresses, Discord, whatever contacts. You guys get it going. And as you are connecting with each other, I think it's time for us to get started. So I'm just going to turn on the...
Let's go.
All right. Welcome. Boom. Let's get started. Today is time for another Arcware Tech Hour. And today we are going to focus on the Arcware pixel streaming template. We're going in deep, we're going in hard. And those were totally not any innuendos. That was merely just a reflection of how hands-on we're going to be with the tutorial that we're going to have today. Thank you, chat, for appreciating my Michael Scott level jokes. So What I am trying to say is that as we have already had the fantastic opportunity to chat with the people in today's audience, because we always start a little early because we want to, get to know you better so that we can personalize the webinars. So today I'm just going to keep it short. I am going to just say that the person next to me is Manolis. Manolis, you might know from our fantastic tech support. He is our co-founder and head of the Unreal Engine. Manolis is the person that you will be talking with anytime that you have an issue with your Unreal Engine application or having your Unreal Engine application being pixel streamed. Then you talk with Manolis. And today, I am just here to make sure that everyone who is watching today is being heard, that your questions are being answered, and to make sure that you guys have everything you need to take your own work to the next level. So then the last thing that I just want to say before we get started on today's topic is that, as everyone already knows, drop your questions, comments, whatever in the chat. We will then make sure that everything gets answered. Some of the questions I can easily ask by just interrupting Manolis. Some of it we'll keep to the end because it just interrupts the flow. And we also want to be able to use this later to turn this into YouTube Shorts. So we need to be quick, to the point, and not go from topic to topic to topic. So then I will give the word to Mr. Manolis. Boom.
Hello, guys. Welcome, everyone. Veterans, new ones. So today's topic, as Dirk told, pixel streaming template deep dive. We will go have an overview. We'll talk a bit about the supported versions. We will then deep dive in the template itself, showing a bit the pawn blueprint, the game controller blueprint, what is exposed as parameters to go on some important parameters and test them out. Then we will talk about the navigation modes. We have orbit, fly, and walk, both working seamlessly on desktop and mobile devices. This is also a question we wanted to answer, is about audio and about Arcware Cloud supporting spatial stereo already, which you can also check by flying around in the template because there is a sound source. Then we will go through the screenshot to Frontend functionality template. This is another template. Until now, on this one, there is a piece of C++ code in order to work, but we want to bring everything on the blueprint side, hopefully, and have one template for everything. That's that. And then we will go to some showcase projects based on our template from us or also from some clients. Again, the presentation, also like the last time, will be short, 2-3 slides, because the whole thing will be kind of live, diving in. So I would say, let's go. So yeah, first of all, where you can find our template is in Epic Games Fab. It's released from January this year. We have two versions here, 5.5 and 5.6. If someone needs an older version, even 4.27, just reach out and we can share you the version. But we strongly recommend to go on 5.6 especially and beyond, because on this version TensorWorks, for the guys who know or who don't know, TensorWorks is the team from Epic Games that is maintaining the pixel streaming plugin, which we are also based on, the pixel streaming infrastructure. They did a huge update on 5.6, fixing some serious issues in terms of like making even better latency and stuff in some cases. That's That's nice information to know. Yeah, the link to the fab, of course, you can find in our documentation, docs.arcware.cloud. Here is the fab link. We can send it also, but it's very easy to find. In general, we support, as I told before, from 4.2.7 up to even 5.7 preview is also supported with the pixel streaming plugin, not the pixel streaming 2. The pixel streaming 2 is also supported, but it's still not production ready, just so you know. And these two versions, 4.2.7 and 5.03, will be deprecated very, very soon. So everyone who is using 4 or 5.03, I mean 5.03 was the most terrible version for pixel streaming especially. So these two are going to be deprecated. And 5.1 and beyond will be everything supported. Just some information. So why we built this template? First of all, the scope of this template was to help people have the navigation input solved. As I told before, we have 3 modes: orbit, fly, and walk mode, which everything works seamlessly with one application on desktop with mouse and keyboard input or on touch devices. Because this was a struggle for many. The input is going through web, through a front end, and that's not like one-on-one the same like it would work on a standalone application. That was the main reason. And then, of course, we also built in the base of the front-end communication part. Just the base with some examples for you to build on and extend it to your needs. But the main reason was the navigation and input, to have these modes working on across all devices. That's that. Let's just dive into the latest version, to the 5.6 version of the template. So important parts. So it will look like this. We also added some stuff because we is Giovanni here?
Giovanni is not
Yeah,
here.
no. He had a request last week and we tried to fulfill his kind of needs on the walk mode. But yeah, we did some updates on the walk mode, supporting 2 modes: WASD movement and click movement. So double click to move, to teleport your pawn, which is a bit more simple and more intuitive. You don't need 2 hands, you need 1 hand, and you can still explore your level, your map. But yeah, that's that. So the pawn itself, the whole input, very important here. It's based on the enhanced input, the new method from Epic Games. That means all the mapping and stuff is residing on the Arcware init here on the input folder, and not in the project settings like it was always the classic method. So it's based on enhanced input, which is great. Then we completely, let's go from the basics. We have our game mode, we have our pawn, and this is where all the magic is done. Here everything, by the way, is blueprint based. So as you can see, it's a huge part thanks to Jack Warren, well, our ex-colleague who is not with us anymore, but he contributed a lot on creating the template. So I will not go deep here, of course, but you can see everything is nicely commented and all the functionalities. So here is where the magic is happening in terms of the modes: orbit, fly, and walk mode. You can see here on the variables, which we will go into in action in a bit. So, but of course it's a base. You can take this and bring it to your needs to another level, whatever you want. But it's a very, very good base to start. Then we have, of course, our player controller. On our player controller, you will find the basic communication with a pixel streaming delegates. This is the classic build by documentation from Epic Games, and this brings us Mr. Stream on the communication to Frontend. Here are some examples we will go through, but yeah, here you have your descriptors. You prepare your key value pairs, which you send to your application, which is recognized, and that it does something. It doesn't matter what. We have some stuff. We will go to some camera changes and stuff from our template. But here is a base communication example for your front-end communication. And we also have triggers with the JSON messages, but you can fake them without even having a front-end. You can still test if actually your functionality is working by faking the input, like coming from a front end, but it's coming within the project, within the engine. We will go through these ones also. So now let's just start a bit, and I can show a bit in action what we have here, and then we can go through the exposed parameters a bit. So as you can see, we start on orbit mode because it was set on orbit mode. On orbit mode, you will have click and like drag to rotate. You will have with the mouse wheel zoom in, zoom out, and you will have a double click to change your pivot point into a particular place. And of course, the collisions and stuff, everything is editable. You can set what for collisions you want to click to move your pivot and stuff like that. We will talk about later. And you also have, at the moment with the middle mouse button, also panning. And all these things we will show a bit later. With the same project, you can also have it working on a tablet or mobile, iPhone, Android, whatever, doesn't matter. So that's kind of the orbit mode. Then we have the fly mode. Again, click drag. Here we have WASD for flying around, QE even going up and down, and with shift you can a bit accelerate your speed also. Same here, desktop input. You can even see here we have a small debug feature which you can see whatever I click is being printed on screen. Of course, on a shipping build and stuff, you disable all this after testing everything. And that's the fly mode. Again, working seamlessly. We will show you also on mobile devices. And then we have the walk mode. At the moment, it's set to WASD movement, which you can see we can move around. We had an issue because it's not first-person original first-person based template from Epic Games. This is not a physics actor or a character. It's done by gravity and some other parameters. And thanks to Giovanni and the feedback, who isn't here today, something was completely off with the WASD because it was really not even used. Mainly orbit and fly mode was used. 90% orbit mode for product presentations and stuff like that. But we kind of fixed it, so we could not go into climb stairs or go in extreme slopes. Now, as you see, we can, except of really crazy slopes like that, because it's gravity based, it will bring you down. But there is a solution to that. We will talk a bit later. also on this also will bring you down, but those are edge cases. I mean, here it's all fine. Let's say here it stops, here is normal, and here we have stairs with, I think, let's just check a bit. Let's go to front. I think the stairs are,
yeah, those look like stairs.
yeah, but they are 30 centimeters, which is a huge yeah, it's not a normal stair, but we want to be sure that the pawn will be climbing normal stairs and stuff. So let's go Alt G and play the game and go walk mode again. And as we can see, we can normally climb the stairs. We even had issues like looking down, it was not going forward. Now everything is fixed, and this is the last version. You can find it on Fab, exactly the setup you see here. That's the walk mode.
Still the same link as before?
It's on Fab.
Yeah, but the really link hasn't changed, right? Like it's...
No, it's the same link. It's the same link here.
Because I have that one on speed dial.
And then what we also updated, if we go on our pawn here, we will go through this stuff a bit later, but if we go on the walk mode, let me orbit fly walk mode, you will see walk control type. We have now two modes, WASD, which we were already, and click to move. So click to move, if we start and go walk mode, I'm WASD, you cannot move anymore, but you can now, with double clicking, you can go wherever you want, and still having the zoom functionality and the automatic depth of field and stuff, everything working. So that's the new mode, which was also requested and we prepared. And in this case, it doesn't matter what the slope is, you can go really wherever you want. It's again collision based, you can control on which collision type you want to go, but that's the new mode. That's that for the modes. Now maybe we can, if you have any questions, you can ask, of course.
Saying that he loves the double click move mode.
Yeah, it's there.
And we do already have a massive list of questions.
Good.
But I think that actually this would be nice to, like, I'm just letting you cook, as you would say.
Yeah.
And then let's have all the questions at the end.
Okay. All right.
Because there's a lot that we're going.
We can still go back and forth.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can open.
But no, like I think right now everything's going well. Like unless you guys are already sick and tired of looking into the Unreal Engine, but I doubt it.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about the exposed parameters. So this thing is a bit. It goes into many parts of what is doable, but we go slowly, step by step. Pan settings, pawn. So that's it. So first of all, movement type. Here we can select what we want to start with. If I go walk mode, and of course I play the game, I will start on the walk mode, and on the mode that it's set at the moment is on the double click to move. That's that. Then we have sprint, shift, movement, multiply, which is pretty much the shift and move. You control your speed here. Then we exposed also the speed multiplier on the zoom with mouse, and zoom with pinch touch input also. This is very important. Sometimes it's not the same, like if you have different speed on the kind of mouse wheel, it doesn't mean that the pinch will be the same. So you can control separately here what you really want. Camera panning allowed. This is again, if we go orbit mode, here we have the panning. If we not allow it, that means no panning anymore. It's pretty much it. Activate camera shake when idle. This is an interesting setting. That means I have it enabled now. I'm rotating somewhere, and if I kind of let the camera here, you can see it will start kind of rotating a bit slowly around the object. Some dynamic. Sometimes it's interesting to have something going on, but sometimes it's not interesting, so you can disable it. So we
can we sorry to interrupt you. Can we quickly go back to configuring movements, right?
Yeah.
So a question from Leon is, so when configuring movements, etc., we can do that as well. Let's say click on a next button. We can be in camera. That will then zoom to an item or switch to another camera in the scene.
Yeah, we'll go to the cameras.
I suppose that is what Leon means, right, Leon?
Yeah, we will go even to how to set up different angles and cameras. Even clamping some stuff. We will go through these parts. No worries. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no
Leon,
worries.
Okay, good. So then that will be answered a little later on. Perfect.
Yeah. We will make a small setup even. No worries.
Leon is very excited.
Nice.
As he should be.
Nice.
It's an Arcware webinar.
So
everyone should be excited.
Then we go to the last setting on the general settings, which is the activate cinematic when idle. Pretty straightforward. I don't know if we have something. I think we don't have something here, but you could even have a cinematic here, a sequence, a real-time sequence, whatever you want, so you can activate it when you are idle. I think at the moment this setting is not exposed, but it's in the blueprint. It's, I think, 10 seconds or something where the cinematic kicks in, so you can also have this. Then we have the depth of field settings. The method is now automatic depth of field, and we have two methods, automatic depth of field and disabled. If you don't want a depth of field, you can completely disable it. At the moment, I can maybe show on orbit mode how it works. I mean, wherever you go, it's automatically, you can clearly see there is a depth of field. It of course works by distance, and let me disable the camera shake, because in this case it's changing the target, and yeah, wherever, doesn't matter. You can see that now we are in the glass, of course, but you can see now I'm focusing here, and the depth of field kicks in here even more shallow, or here. So this is already there, which you can control. You can have a control over it. The collision channel for the depth of field is visibility. You have two options here, visibility or camera. And then you can also control the ranges straightforward. And this is all with Unreal units, which means centimeters. And then, of course, you can also control by range also the aperture. So you have full control over your depth of field. Then we have rotation settings. The only settings here we have is to clamp, but this is important. Of course, you can have a now it's without a clamp. Let's say we are in orbit. If we go completely up, this is classic story. It can always happen. Plus, on this axis is of course 360. We can enable the clamps at the moment. What is the setting? 90 minus 90, 360, and this should then be like in this axis completely, of course 360, but on the top one, I think, yeah, 90. 90 means, you see I'm going up and this is not happening anymore. So you are way more solid and you have control over clamp. This is very important on setting later additional cameras. You can per camera also have your clamps per perspective and have total control. if you don't want to go in walls and stuff like that. So that's that. So then that was it. Then we have orbit mode, general settings. Here, orbit mode collision for pivot changes. This is the double click or double tap to change your pivot. At the moment, the collision is set to world dynamic. So whatever you have with world dynamic collision, you will be able to, like we showed before, double click and change your pivot point there. This cube is of course full, and I think also these assets, or no, those are static, I think. Let's double check. Collision default. And if we go custom, what is default? Wall static. Yeah. That's why we cannot double click and move. If we, let's say, change this to world dynamic, custom world dynamic, and play, yeah, it should be able to go. I think we are going there pretty fast. For now, let's go default. And let's check. Let's hide this. Let's check what we have here. So we have visibility, world dynamic. So that's kind of the setup. Visibility and world dynamic. Let's try to replicate it here. Visibility, world dynamic. Yeah, exactly. Now it works like it should. So that's that. We can control the collision type. Orbit mode, focal length. In this case, it's exactly what it says. It's how you start the default focal length. So if we make it 30, we will have a focal length of 30. So by default, it's 55. Then the spring arm zoom default amount. And this is the default amount. It's kind of the distance. You can, of course, control 1500. We go closer, of course. And then we have the min amount and the max amount. So we can go close up to 10. And we can zoom out up to 3500. And that's it. That's kind of your limits. And we can really go close. In this case, up to 10. We pretty much go inside. By putting it, let's say, 150. Let's see where is the limit. Of course, we need to measure distance. Yeah, we are here. A bit more, 250. Yeah. Now we are here, kind of. You can control also this amount, and maximum amount. We already clarified it's how far you can go. Spring arm should collide with objects, yes or no. This is also an option. So in this case, a good example is this one. So we go down and our camera is already, if we go out, no, you cannot see, but the camera is colliding with the floor. That's why this is happening. I think if we disable this, let's see. Yeah, exactly. We just go now under the floor. Of course, this is not a two-sided object. That's why when even we go down, we can still see through it, but that's this option. spring arm collision channel again, camera, and then orbit, movement lag, intensity, rotation lag. So this setting is, let's go to the defaults, and you will see what this setting is. So now if we rotate and let the mouse, you can feel that it still moves a bit. And the lower you go on the drag effect, let's set it to 1, the more it will be floating. Now I'm letting it that it goes like this. The higher this lag amount, let's go 10, then you can see a more it snaps. So that's this setting, and the same setting also for the movement. And yeah, that was the lag. Orbit mode, movement input, speed multiplier. These are the speeds. Again, rotation speed, we put it to 10. It goes crazy. It's super fast. Like you can see, with a small amount of click and drag, it almost rotates 180 degrees. The lower you go, the lower it is. So these are the settings that are exposed for the orbit mode. And fly mode, pretty much the same thing. The lag, rotation and movement. Again, default zoom, how we start, how we see things, min and max zoom amount, and also rotation mouse input here and rotation touch input here. The speeds, like also the orbit mode. And then the third mode, which is the walk mode, we already, I think, demystified this one. WASD and click to move. Again, collision types for the WASD, and collision types also for the click to move, which is in this case world static. Walk mode, again, the same topic here. The amounts, the zoom amounts, how you start, and what are your limits. Because if we go, let's say, or let's go click to move, and here we change it to walk mode, that we start instantly there. So as you can see, we still have the zoom working, because in many ArcViz examples or whatever examples, you need to have a zoom. So let's go up, and so you can still zoom wherever you want and zoom out, kind of, with dynamic depth of field. So that's that. The rest is pretty much going with the same method. Plus, we even have a player height here. So by default it's 180. If we make it 120, you are of course lower. It's a kid, like a kid or whatever. So you can control also the eye height. That's that. Straightforward. And those were kind of the modes. Now, before we jump into the camera settings and stuff, yeah, also we have, for the pan, exposed parameters to use the clamps. So we can have a clamp on the panning also. So we can not go, to the clouds or under the water or floor, whatever. We can use also clamps here. Let's just try. But I think on orbit mode we have so in this case you can see it's clamping. Now we have the value set to 100, and that's clamping the pan mode. All right, that's that. Now I would like to show, best would be now, because we kind of yeah, let's see if this will work. Yeah,
and then we connect it to this.
Let's try to now show the same thing. It's the same example.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Good. So this will also
Wait, let me. Yeah.
yeah. You. So I'm just going to talk, and you.
Yeah. We will try to show
Yeah.
the same example, even the same build now on how these modes work or reflect
Yes.
on a mobile device, which will have an iPad Pro here. It's the same on iPhones and stuff. And
So, as
yeah,
you're loading this up, so one of the things that I really want to highlight here, because it came back as part of the questions. So the whole point of pixel streaming is that you can use it on any device. The whole, the special thing about pixel streaming is that the hard lifting is being done by our servers. We also have our own servers because that is the only way to guarantee that we have the quality and the firepower to actually render everything quickly. Other pixel streaming platforms prefer to do it a different way, and there are consequences to those choices. But because our servers do the rendering, that means that you can watch it on, you can access this content on any type of device. So mobile, tablet, laptop, it doesn't really matter. It's more about
touch screens also work.
Exactly.
Normal touch screens, televisions or whatever.
And so it also it's browser based, right? So it doesn't really matter which browser you use. I do know that we've had some issues with Safari in the past, I want to say, or am I mistaken?
Not Safari so much, but Firefox had some issues, but with enabling the hardware acceleration, many are solved. Google Chrome is kind of the best, but Safari is working. I can explain some stuff that what is happening on Apple and iOS on Safari at
Very
the
good.
end, also the devices.
Let's switch to the tablet.
So now, yeah, as you can see, we have the. Can enable the camera if you want.
Oh, I was actually thinking. Okay, let's.
You wanted to
We
clear?
are there. Yes, good.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, now we have. I'm just clicking and dragging. We are on the tablet. We are rotating. If I double tap, we change our pivot point wherever we want. Now I'm going to pinch zoom. So we can zoom in and zoom out, of course. And we even have the pan working by 3-finger gesture. So if we go with 3 fingers, we can pan up, down, wherever we want. So this is also solved with a pawn, as I showed you before. So that's kind of the orbit mode. Then we can go to fly mode. And here is the interesting part. So as you will see, we don't see anything. So the right side of the screen is the rotation. So we can rotate here and there. And the left side of the screen, the down part especially, has the widget there to move. So now I will click and you will see it will appear. And if I let it, it will disappear. So that way we have a clear picture, and if we know, we can of course have it appearing always, but we feel that it's better to have it a clean, nice experience. So here we can move around, and with the other finger I can rotate. So this is the fly mode at the moment. As you can see, also working. Plus again, pinching, zooming is working. And of course, also panning is working on fly mode. We can even have panning. And you can see the debug, what I'm doing. We even have it's a developer build at the moment, so you can clearly see what's going on. That's that. And now we go to our walk mode. So
before we get to the walk mode, AK3D is saying / asking that the widget is the default Unreal controller, and he moves around the screen when you touch screen. Sorry, I think AK got a little excited and then typed too fast. So that widget is default Unreal controller, and he moves around screen when you touch screen.
Yeah, it's our controller. I mean the game controller, Brooklyn. What do you mean with controller? Yeah. It's the same thing that you saw. It's just working seamlessly. Now we recognize that the device is a touch capable device, and we enable these features. As you can see on walk mode also, I can again rotate my camera. I can rotate while moving, so I can go up, whatever. I can even jump. You see, when we click in, we even bring these two buttons, because that was the way without kind of bringing them fast in. So you have even these functionalities. So you can jump, and you can even, of course, sprint if needed. So everything is solved also for mobile. And it's the same template. This thing, if you can share the link, by the way, you can start it on mobile, or you can start it on whenever you want to start it. It will understand, and you will have exactly the same experience. One thing we are now working on to finalize it is the click to move, which is not something crazy, but as I told, we kind of enhanced the walk mode from last week, and we will release this one too, so you can have double tap and move, like the click and move that you saw on desktop. Same thing here. So that's that. That's how it works nicely on mobile devices. Here, of course, we don't have panning. We only have zooming in, zooming out with a pinch zoom. And yeah, let's go back to orbit. Yeah, that's it. That's what we did. That was the major scope of this template on enable people having all these controls with remotes, just taking our template and going with streaming.
Good. Then I would like to get to some questions and comments about this.
Of course.
So Chet asks, does the template support allowing a user to change things in the game, such as an always show control option?
Always show control?
Always show controls, sorry.
Controls, you mean what? The widgets or what?
That depends on Chat.
The thumb, yeah. No, it's not exposed, but of course you can do whatever you want. It's
Some
all
people get
Brooklyn
lost
based.
if the mobile controls disappear, like when you...
It's fine. You can go and make this functionality, you can close it and you can have it always appear.
Very good.
Yeah. That's the way we thought it's more clean, but of course, guys, feel free to do whatever you want.
And then I would like to quickly get back to the topic of browsers.
Yeah.
Yes, bring it on.
Some stuff about browsers, not on tablets. On tablets, as you can see, can we go back to the tablet?
Of course we can.
On tablets, but this is only iOS things and kind of not working stuff. As you can see, full screen is working nicely. I'm clicking it. We are going there. I can show it better here because now we see everything. So full screen on tablet is working. One thing we know that is not working on iOS devices, on mobile devices, on phones and stuff, it's the full screen mode. That's a thing, which is working on Android and wherever. It's only not working on iOS, and it's an iOS kind of limitation. And one other thing to keep in mind is that, again, on mobile, let me, by the way, check it here, where we can go. But I think it's also on mobile. On the battery save mode. If we are on battery save mode on iOS and we try to stream, we might see a black screen. Just a black screen, although the stream starts, but it never shows you. It's kind of, again, prevention of battery usage, whatever, from Apple iOS. That's also just to keep in mind. On Android, everything works, no problem. If you are on battery save, non-battery save, everything is working, even full screen and stuff. On iOS, even with Chrome browsers, you will not have a full screen. It's preventing it. We had this feedback, we know it, that's that, and we even tried to reach to Apple and stuff, but there is no solution at the moment on that one. Maybe with some custom front end, maybe.
So then I want to see if we can sort of clump all of these questions together, which is difficult because everyone has browser issues, it seems. So on the one hand, we hear in the audience that we hear more complaints about iOS and Safari because it has memory issues. Is that something that you've also experienced?
Memory issues?
Yes, so that there's, I suppose that just the Safari already requires enough, and then the rest also gets tricky.
I don't know. I cannot answer this one if it's related to memory issues or something else.
And then one of the things that has also been asked, which is actually a very good point to make. So if I'm selling my services as an Unreal Engine developer, should I tell my customer that it is normal to occasionally experience issues on iOS.
Yeah, educating your clients or your like it's the
expectation management, you'd say.
Yeah, you need to tell about these things because they exist.
And then, but if I open this, if I open an Unreal Engine application on, or through pixel streaming, obviously on an iOS device, then obviously I can still click on it. I can still use a front end stuff that will still work.
Everything, except of these things, as I told, the battery saving mode, not on all devices and stuff. That's the tricky part. That's the problem. You can go into a black screen. And then the full screen only on mobile, on phones only, it's not working. On tablets and stuff, everything is working.
But then again, if you are on a website and you're pixel streaming something, what is the chances that someone's actually going to click full screen, then get stuck, and then still?
In many cases, we have seen doing not workarounds, but experiences that are contained, embedded in the whatever size, and there is not even a full screen button.
So then you already solved the issue by just not being able to.
Exactly, but I just want to be here clear and tell what are some of the issues, just so you know, guys.
I've here Pixel says that it's actually something that Apple wants to prevent you from doing.
Maybe that's maybe one of that's why they never also reply to our things. So that's it. They don't give a damn, I believe.
Yeah, so I think Leon, that also answers your question about this topic, right? About the full screen issue, because he asks us if it's container size dependent, and I think we've now mentioned this. AK3D tells you to buy an Android tablet.
Android is the killer. This thing is a beast. Everything works on Android phones or whatever.
I'm not complaining about my Android tablet, even though I barely ever use it. Then I think browser-wise we have answered everything. We are complaining a little bit about other technologies in the chat, which is always fun. Are there any differences between holding a phone or a tablet vertically or horizontally? That should
no. That's all fine.
Then,
but we will go on that part also because we have an interesting functionality on portrait or horizontal view. But we will go in the controller mode so you can see what can be done through Frontend, and then we will also show an actual example. We can control the kind of the zoom of the camera.
Very good. Then AK, if you could finish typing so that we know whether or not we can continue. Because obviously if you have a question or a great comment, we would like to share it here because we'd like to stay on topic. No pressure, by the way. I don't want to be nasty about it. Just saying I see AK is typing and I'd like to be inclusive. We have another question here. I don't think we're going to be looking into VR today, right?
We can talk about. I can send the link, by the way. Feel free to test it on MetaQuest 2, 3, and Apple Vision Pro. In device, you need to go through the in-device browser. Go to the link. After starting, you will see a VR icon appearing. You click the button and you are in streamed VR. But it's experimental. Latency is the killer. I told this, I don't know, more than 1,000 times already. It is there, it's working, but it's not the best experience yet. It doesn't matter even me streaming here. We are in Munich. Our data center is around 20 kilometers. Even me streaming from the closest range, even with 10 milliseconds, 15 milliseconds latency, the experience can be a bit laggy because it's VR and motion sickness is the killer. But it performs well in a local network environment. So you can have a device somewhere on the local network, somewhere in the basement, and stream to any device. This is kind of the best experience, but not through web yet. But it's working. You can test it out.
I do want to stay on the topic of best experience because apparently AK has been hanging out for an hour with us as opposed to his wife's birthday party. So I think that's been the biggest compliment that we've received so far. And Gerald is coming with a fantastically interesting idea. He suggests that you should pixel stream for VR with direct flow.
Yeah, it is possible.
Is that also something that would limit the motion sickness, or would you still end up with the same issue?
No, it's on a local environment. You pretty much are there because you have 1-2 milliseconds in a local network. I mean,
so Gerald, please keep us posted on all of your findings experimenting with this.
Gerald knows direct flow. He has used it in the past. I know it.
Very good. So if you are exploring this and experimenting with direct flow, please write articles about it so that we can link to that as well, because obviously you're doing God's work this way. So then, are we continuing with questions, or do we have new topics? Because I think it's time to go back to the Unreal Engine. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Cool. Then let's do this. Let's get started again.
All right. So we clarified that. We checked the experience on 3 modes on a tablet, which was great experience. And now I will just talk a bit about this nice UI. Let me make it a bit bigger. So what we have here, it's also an interesting stuff. It's all built by request. First of all, you have an in-game text input widget where you can test stuff. Then, what else do we have here? Of course, with tab, or let's go through the settings. A link mouse visibility to menu. This is, now we have the menu is open, and of course we can see the mouse cursor. But if we click tab or click menu to hide the menu, we also hide our mouse, the in-game mouse. So this functionality is also there. You can use it. We have many users going in-game UI, and they kind of want to have this experience, opening the menu, the in-game mouse to appear, and then closing the menu to disappear. We also have the lock camera to mouse option, which at the moment we have the menu open. That means we are free to do whatever we want. But the moment you close the menu, you can see that the mouse is locked. First of all, it hides itself and it's locked to the camera. That's maybe better. What do we have here? WASD? No. Let's go to WASD.
Speaking of the walking, Giovanni finally arrived.
Giovanni,
you've been getting a lot of praise today. That's why I wanted to let Manolis know that you've arrived.
So if we go, yeah, Giovanni, we can climb stairs now. He knows what I'm talking about.
His meeting ran late, so he's happy that we are spending an entire hour already talking about the Unreal Engine editor.
So we were on the setting. Now let's move a bit. We were on the lock camera to mouse. So here again, we are in the menu, so we can see our cursor. But the moment we let it, it hides, and the mouse is locked to our camera. That means there is no click to rotate or whatever. It's like you are in a game. And Giovanni, here are the stairs, my friend. Huge stairs, 30 centimeter per stair height. And you can see that we can climb properly. And also, this is the collision, I think, which we changed on this one. That's why we cannot go. But we also can go to slopes. And as you can see, it doesn't bring you down. But there is of course, Giovanni, limit. I clarified everything. You can check it, or we can have a call tomorrow for a special deep dive only for you. But we kind of fixed your request. And what we also added is we have 2 types now, WASD and click to move type. So that means on walk mode now, you can double click to go wherever you want on your ArcViz projects. We talked about these things. You can check the video later, or of course we can go into a one-on-one together to show you. So that's that. Yeah, we were on the menu, of course. And those are the options that we have implemented already. So you can hide the mouse, the in-game mouse, when you are in-game, and reveal it when you are in the menu, on the menu. Of course, we are talking about in-game UI stuff now, not a front end, but that was also requested, and we have it. So then, one other thing, a small part, but sometimes very important. We had clients requesting it, and with the latest integration, we have it. We will just briefly talk about the audio and spatial stereo. I cannot show it here. Of course, we don't have direct sound, or I don't even know if Livestorm can bring it,
I think it might even work.
But the best example is, guys, we can share the link. Have we shared the link of the stream?
The link of the stream we have already shared, but I will
All right.
back for everyone.
So the best way to test it, even on this one, is to just go fly or walk mode. Doesn't matter. If you start, you will see here we have a video playing. I don't remember if the video audio is on, but yeah. So this is kind of already with a spatial stereo enabled. So if you just rotate around, you will see the sound will start. You will see the stereo effect, the spatial stereo effect. So that's that. Or if you have any project with an audio source or whatever coming from a particular place going around it, you will see that it really simulates. So that's that.
Then I have a quick question about sound.
Yeah.
How can I turn it off? On the 5.5 version, it's automatically on. And how do I turn it off in general as well? That was another question.
I think with our share links, it's never automatically on. I mean, in the template,
yes.
In the template, you just on this video, you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah, on the video, you just go to the movie plate actor here, and then here is, as you can see, the enable audio. You enable it, you can just disable it.
Very good.
And then it won't be. I know sometimes after iterating testing, always the sound kicks in, can be a bit crazy, so feel free to disable it or remove it completely. This is just for testing and also showing you that you can have, and this is the easiest way, a movie plate and then have any media and attach it on it. Very, very straightforward method. So you can have, in-game videos playing like this one, also with sound. This can be a television, this can be anything. Yeah, that's kind of about the spatial stereo that is supported. And now let's go to another interesting part, and it's setting up some cameras.
Aha, fantastic.
Yeah, let's first of all show it. Let's go orbit mode because it's set, I think, on orbit and on fly only at the moment. Orbit. And we have here the section with set camera views for orbit. So at the moment, we can also press G to see what's going on here. We have 3 camera sets. If we check here, we can go through these cameras by clicking, I think it's 2, the shortcut 2. So here is 1, here is the second camera, and here is the third camera. So 1, 2, and 3. I will also a bit show the blueprint side of it, so we can see what we are doing here. Because Mr. Stream, here we have set the cameras, of course, but we are calling them with a fake input with the descriptors. It's like calling them through a front end, and then the application is changing the camera views. So on 2, as you can see, we have a multi-gate node, which is looping through 1, 2, 3, these 3 pins, and it's calling camera view and the command cam01, cam0001 on 02, and this thing is actually here. We can even debug it in real time, so you can see what's going on. If we play and go debug mode, first of all, by clicking 2, you can see 1, 2, 3, and what's happening is that here we have then, I will show you this part, how to set, and we might set a 4th camera, let's say. So here is the pixel streaming input and the descriptor camera view. Of course, we have a condition. If it's correct, then it goes through our Arcware pawn, and here we have a switch by selection. That means we are pushing the camera 00. Let's do it in real time. And now we were on the other one, so now we are on the 01. It goes through the switch, just a simple functionality, and it calls the camera view, which is camera ID 1. And then we will go to camera ID 2, and then it's just looping camera ID 0. And we will now try to set a 4th camera maybe. And that's the communication actually on the Unreal side. It's exactly, this is the same way of communication on whatever you want to do. And then of course we have the other part, which we are branching. If it's upstreaming, we are checking here if we are still streaming, and then we are sending back to frontend to give that this event was triggered and completed. So we can talk back to frontend, and the main reason for that until now is pretty much to make a button state or something like that. So if we click a color, which it talks to the frontend, button is clicked, it talks to Unreal, the color is changed, Unreal talks back to frontend with this function here, and then frontend sets the kind of state of the button, like, highlighting it or whatever, that it knows, hey, this is done, let's go. That's kind of how the communication works in the nutshell. And now, let's try on live. Let's try to set, let's say, another camera. How we do it on our template. So let's go. In this case, we are using these pivot points, which those are just empty actors. That's what they are. So let's just grab one. And we also attach an arrow always. This might be defined in next version to have it kind of all together, to just see your rotation orientation. But there is also a fastest way on kind of not rotating your actor and stuff. You can just pilot it and set it wherever you want and let it be and kind of refine it from there. But let's just set we have 0, 0, 1, 2, a 3rd camera, let's say, on orbit mode. So what I would do is I would copy and paste here. Of course, rename it, keep things clean, and even the arrow I would, so let's take this one and move it wherever we want. It doesn't matter now. And we copy also the arrow, we paste it, we parent it here under our new orbit mode pivot actor. And then of course the arrow is still here. We need to just reset its location so it comes under our orbit, and rotation and everything. Because we copied this, the orientation is still the same. So now, first of all, I would just take the actor here and right click the fastest way is to pilot. So now we are just piloting this actor to set the new location. Let's say we go this side. Nice. That's what we like. We let it be, and then we of course go out. So this will be our new location. But because it's orbit mode, this will be the center. Important. Let's pilot it and let's nail it in this corner here exactly to be like this. And then of course we go out. So now we go on our pawn. We know we have the orbit mode pivot 03. It's simple as going here. You can see here our cameras. And we will talk a bit about the clamps also. So we add a new asset in array, and we simply, what was the name? Orbit mode 03. We nail it here. And then of course we also have these interesting parts, which is orbit rotation clamp, minimum Y, maximum Y, minimum Z, maximum Z. Those are the clamps we were talking about, because you can have per camera, per different camera, different clamps. So you really control how much we can rotate and stuff. And also default zoom, minimum zoom, and maximum zoom also, how it starts, how the view starts, and how much we can zoom in and out. And also the focal length. So we added the fourth one. So, and it goes by index. This is instantly then, if we have index 3, that means index 3 here, we will have kind of reflecting any value we have on our on fourth camera, pivot 03. So the clamps, yeah, let's go minus 30 in this case. Max Y clamp, let's go 30. And then the Z clamp again, let's just go minus 30. Max Z, let's go 30. Zoom, let's go 500. Let's just see. Zoom in, let's go 150. Zoom out, let's go, I don't know, 5000. Let's go crazy. And orbit mode, focal length, let's go here, 50. So now we have a new camera already prepared. Now we will add it in the functionality. Let's go to our controller, and in this case is simple as, let's copy paste. Let's go ID3. ID3 reflects this index number, of course, for the camera and the settings on the camera. Here we can add a pin, or maybe we can do it better by adding here the index 3, and we go 03. We hook it up, and of course we hook up the target to be our pawn. That's that. And now to call it, we go of course back and we fake one more input here. In our multi-gate we add one more pin. So we connect that here and we go cam 03. Cam 03 means here cam 03, and this one will call our new camera. Let's see if this works. Compile, save, let's play, and let's go. So let's also see what's going on. Do we have the debug? Yeah, it's set here. Yeah, don't forget, if you have no debug object selected and you start the game, you need to select actually your BP Arcware player controller or whatever you have in order to debug properly. So now 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we set it up a fourth camera. And we also have the clamps. Yeah, for the fourth we forgot to add it to our JSON response back to frontend, but it doesn't matter, it works. But if you want to report back properly, you also hook this up. And yeah, let's see if our clamps are working. As you can see, they are not working, and there is a reason for that.
I did this on purpose.
Yeah. So the clamps to work, remember here we have this nice use camera rotation angle clamp. We need to enable it. The initial settings here are always for your default, wherever we start here. That's our default view. That's also the view where we can always reset to. It's wherever you have set your actual Arcware pawn to be targeting, and that's that. So here we have, of course, as we saw, minus 360, 360, so you can rotate around. And we added this minus 90 and 90 to not have this crazy effect, because Unreal tends to go crazy when you go on the Z axis on the maximum. It really bugs out a bit. That's that. And now if we go through our cameras, let's go on the new one. That's it. We clamped this one like this. You can see it doesn't go more than whatever we set there. I think, what was it, 30, minus 30, and to Z also. Also, the zoom amount. You can see it's not going more than we set, and zoom out we set, I don't know, 5,000 or something. So here I think we'll go. And here also it kicks in. This is the collision on objects that we have. So it goes in the visibility collision of the chair, and it's colliding and going in front. So that's kind of that.
Then before we move to the next topic, I just would like to follow up on a question that Mr. Stream came up with, which is, so if he wants to, for hooking up changing materials, I'd have to do it in the player controller blueprint, or can I make a new blueprint from scratch?
You can even use variant manager for that. You can even call, it's up on you how you want to set up your functionality. I think for a beginner it's also good and a very easy way to change materials, color, stuff like that, is to use the variant manager. And then again, call the functions here. It's good to set up the communication with frontend in one place. We choose the player controller. But of course, your variant manager can be residing. It's a variant manager, so you can do whatever you want.
Very good.
But it can be called here on the player controller, so you have all your communication to frontend listed like here, like this is what it does, and then call the functions here to your variant manager and manipulate it.
Very good. I also then instantly shared the video from Hessel.
Yeah.
Because that's all about the variant manager.
We even have a stream. The guy collaborated with us. We even have his kitchen streamed, which
page, right?
Every change is actually on a variant done with variant manager. Even the camera changes. In this case, we even brought the camera indexes and stuff to a variant manager.
Let me just find the link for that. So
it's the kitchen
yes,
art.
I must have overlooked.
There you go. That's it. There you go.
Very good.
Yeah. But that's an example of, first of all, adding cameras to our product, project, you name it. And that was also the way how you communicate, prepare the communication to the front-end side. And faking is a nice thing because you can test without even having a front-end. And if everything works, you just give your key value person everything to your front-end guy and also the designs on everything, and then 99.9% everything should work as expected.
Very good. Then are there any questions about this specific topic that we need to discuss right now?
No, maybe one last thing here. We have also examples on test all events from JSON. This is an example with all JSON messages embedded in one JSON object. So we can even add and or send multiple commands into one step. That's also possible. And here are the examples. And yeah, feel free to experiment. One other thing, maybe an important thing to show is the zoom. Can you show a bit the screen, please? It's okay.
Thinking we're going in a different direction.
It's fine. We will go.
Well, of course, we'll always go.
We can also show an example. So this is a first. Let's go to the control part. So what was the problem? The problem was that, let me start the stream so I can first show what's happening in real time. I think we have it on also this one, but let's go. Yeah, let's start this one. The project is done, by the way, from our partners and ex-colleagues, Ivan, Jack, and Lorena. Yeah, they have their own studio now, doing some nice stuff. So, let's turn this off. We can talk about these things also. So, let me go to, I think, mobile view. So you can see what's happening now. So now we are in horizontal mobile view. And if we change the rotation to see still the object, like the car in this case, it adapts. It zooms out a bit, not to cut your object, product, whatever you are streaming, of course. And this functionality is here. We have the example also on our template, as you know. It's also called field name zoom. We will even prepare a CodePen example. We will integrate it on our CodePen example so you can test it in our template. And what this does is it updates. We have a variable mobile portrait zoom adjustment. It updates the current focal length, of course, to control the simple function here. Zoom adjustment sent from frontend for if we are in portrait mode in mobile. That's also the comment. And we can even show how it works because I kind of prepared something here too for this one. So that's the key value per zoom and amount 50 or 0. So if we start, I mean, this is a thing to, of course, test properly, but by clicking now you know, we can have, let's say, on normal 16:9 kind of, I have zoom 0 now, but something like this. And wherever we go, this is triggered, of course, from frontend. If it recognizes the orientation, then we kick out, like this is the actual functionality. It goes to 50 and then 0. But the numbers are there to play around. It depends on the object. If it's a car, it's kind of in the horizontal phase. It's nice functionality not to cut your product, or keeping it in screen always fully. So that's a nice thing also to know. And I think that's the last part that I wanted to talk about, the main template. And maybe we can talk about our screenshot functionality.
Let's do that.
So let me find it first. So this one, we have the latest version also uploaded, the version 103, which if we go in our documentation, I think it's in this here, in the Unreal Engine. It's on the screenshot saving functionality. If we go to this link, this one is still shared from our OneDrive, but you will have, we will find the 5.6 version 1.3 of the template. And this is prepared. It's kind of the same thing with some small changes, because we want not only screenshots to be grabbed from frontend, but anything, even JSON files or whatever we want. And we also updated our web SDK, even on the platform side, meaning now you can have grab screenshots from directly running via ShareLink. Before you needed to, the documentations will also change very soon. This is really fresh stuff. So before you had to go and do some magic on the front end side in order to the function to work. Now it's all integrated on the web SDK. You just don't need to do nothing. You just need the part of the Unreal Engine side of the things. And we can check it here by going into our, I think there is a code pen here. Exactly. You have exposed code pen, which is based on the web SDK, where you can test it out. And then we will go also to a share link. So here we have a classic template, and we have in-game UI and also a front-end element, both doing the same thing. You click, you create, and it instantly grabs the screenshot, so you can save it and have it. At the moment, it's set to grab whatever the aspect is, but of course you can manipulate it's using the high-res shot command. So you can even make fixed. I will show you again on an example that it's from Ivan, by the way. It's really nicely done on how you can even manipulate the resolutions and stuff like that. And same here, clicking on the take screenshot button with an in-game UI, you do the same thing pretty much. And now, can you please go to the camera, because I will go a bit back and to grab a link to show.
Then in the meantime, let's focus on Leon's question, because Leon is a student and he would like to start drinking and meet girls. So he has a party for tonight. So
nice.
Because I asked him if he was in a rush, and I think that this
let's go.
This is important. So he wants to know. It's about sending data back and forth from the pixel streaming API to the backend of the website. He does not want to expose calculations, etc., to the front end of the website. So his question is it possible to send data from the Unreal Engine to the backend of the website and back?
Yes.
Let's say I make a selection in Unreal for an item, and then that is going to be put in the database of the current configuration of the user.
Yes, of course. You can even hook whatever you want to. Lately we had projects generating, let's say, leads from a stream. It could go to an API and put the stuff on a particular, let's say, CRM. So everything is possible, yes.
Very good. I like that we are keeping in line with everything is possible with the Unreal Engine. So that also
it's a technology tech stack. I mean, of course it's possible. We even have a lot of projects calculating the configurator part of the thing, not even in Unreal, but from a backend. So the front end is just also kind of a controller. The Unreal is completely just a dummy visualizer, and then all the configuration codes or whatever are sent from a backend side. That's the Misa example, which we of course have.
So that also brings us to the next question from Mr. Stream, which is, what if I want to add certain text to the actual shot that was recorded? I am guessing that where Mr. Stream lives, they do not have screenshots that you can easily add text to. Or is there another reason why you would like that? And what kind of text? Because I'm looking for a use case that where this would be normal.
Yeah. I mean, to rename your file. That's what you mean. Of course.
Oh, he wants to add costs on top of the screenshot so that, like if you have a kitchen configurator, and that's just like the nice.
Yeah, this is again, we are talking about configurational codes and maybe a small backend or a front end in a POC level. But we will show a case that is actually.
Do we have a link ready?
Wait, first of all, I want to find the link for the.
Yeah, finding it is important before you have it. Chronological steps are important.
Why is this? That's me.
By the way, I also just want to thank everyone for sticking around with us for so long. It's been an hour and a half since we were supposed to get started, and we started a little early as always. So thank you guys for sticking around with us. It means a lot to us. And thank you for being so inquisitive. We love it when you guys ask questions, because that also makes it interesting for us, and we learn a lot about what it is that we should be explaining to people.
Of course.
So very good. So Leon, has your question been answered, and is it time for you to get to the Imbis to get yourself a nice soft and a drink?
Here I just want to show the same example again with a screenshot, but just going, you can see here clearly it's a share link. It's not a code pen, because on the code pen was also the front-end side, which is on the Web SDK, but I just want to show that also on the platform share links, the same thing. Of course, here we don't have a front-end UI, it's just embedded the stream. You can see it's working. So with a new template, you can migrate the code on your projects, and you can have it also grabbing screenshots with a normal share link. That's kind of that. That's that, and let's go on the beast again. Let's close the other streams.
So just a last question from Leon. Is there any documentation about that specific stuff?
For the screenshot?
For the sending data back and forth to the back end.
No.
No.
This is always a custom thing. We cannot have, because backends can be many. It's just a world by itself. But we could, of course, support if anything is needed, kind of accelerating the solution or whatever. We can support. But that's the reason, because it's always something different. Even on the front end side, guys, we have some of the common kind of frameworks. As you can see, we have on the code examples like JavaScript, HTML, React, Vue, AngularJS, but those are not the only ones. There can be, of course, many. In the backend side, it's even more kind of complex. That's why we don't have something standard. And here what I want to show is the guys did it really nice, the export image part, that you can even choose aspects, like you can go 1-to-1, and by showing the preview, it can even show you the preview, what will be the part that will be, the screenshot will be, or 4x5, and also resolution change. I told you before, so you can even make a fixed resolution. So in this case, let's just go into a nice camera, let's say this, zoom out a bit, and on the media export, this is our Web SDK and even our template on this project used, so you know. And we export the image, bam, even on a nice loading overlay and stuff like that. It does the thing in the background, and we have the image. And this is even a high resolution image. So feel free to check it yourself, but I really like this show viewport preview that you can really visualize what you are actually gonna take. And here, of course, also summary. The guys also have configuration codes, which you can share, copy, submit interest, which creates a field where you put your names and whatever, and an email, and you even grab a nice PDF with the pictures and everything created. This has even a small backend in the background, combining all together and sending it to you. It's a really nice example. And let's close this thing. And one other thing to see how fast it can be. First of all, we had this thing also in some other projects, but the guys nailed it again nice. So you can even have a complete color palette. This is talking to Unreal directly and going on any color range you want. Plus, you even have, and this is the very nice part, a randomizer, which you can, spam, and it creates you some nice variants of the car. And it's in general a really deep configurator based on variant manager and stuff like that. Feel free to check it out. This is kind of Arcware streaming template plus WebSDK, one of the best examples out there. Yeah, that's that.
Very good. Then the only thing that's left to say for us to Leon is don't drink too much, but also don't drink too little. Hydration is important, even if it comes in beer form. And then I think we can move to the questions, can't we?
Wait, yeah, I mean, why not?
Ask us anything, guys. I obviously have a long list of all of the things that that you guys already asked. So, yes, Leon is a very responsible drinker. He always drinks one glass of water with a glass of wine. So, see ya.
Have a nice one.
Good. All right. So then let's go to the questions. Let's stay on. Yeah, so a very particular question already. Do we have any recommendations how to process complex JSON messages?
I'm not the front-end guy, but JSON should not be so complex, I guess. But yeah, you communicate with a JSON key value pairs to Unreal, and the complexity there is you send either one message or you can send a bunch messages together, all stuck together through the data channel, of course, on the WebRTC side. That's it. What do you mean complex?
Was that Rafael? Was this your question? As you are currently typing, that's why I'm asking. Inside the player controller, he means.
Inside the player controller.
Correct.
I mean, let me show you something maybe. So this one is, yeah, first of all, let's close this project. And let me show you what this is. This is a project we have done. I guess you guys have seen it. This is the AMG kind of car configurator, the proof of concept. And this is pretty too much going on. And you can see, I mean, how complex it is, if you can say it complex. But this is, again, we have our own Arcware pawn setup. You can see here how many camera views and stuff we have. So we have, it's based on the orbit mode, and yeah, it's fully orbit mode purely. We have cases that we have also fly mode, kind of hybrid, but 13 cameras for interior modes, functions, whatever. And here, if we go to our player controller, you can see that it's a bit bigger than the template, but it's pretty much the same thing. I don't think that from the front-end side it's complex as sending really the key value pair. The complexity is sometimes more in the Unreal side. Because here we control even animations and stuff like that sometimes on what by sending a key value pair, what happens actually.
So we have some clarification from Rafael. He means how to process on the Unreal side. Currently, you're using a get JSON string value and then contain substring, for example. What if I have a big bunch of information to process?
Yeah, it will process. You can send many information also together.
I think basically what the case is here is that Rafael underestimates how much the Unreal Engine can handle by itself.
Of course.
He knows that technology lets you down occasionally, and today is not that day.
You can test the limits if you want.
Very good. Then I want to get to I want to get to the different modes again. Let's start with Faisal's question, which is, would Orbit be the most accessible navigation for phone viewing? I assume Walk is quite complex to achieve on smaller screens.
Yeah, Orbit is better. Or Fly. But we have also, Fly. We have many times Fly mode with clamps and stuff also working on mobile. And many times we have one thing that is being implemented is to restrict the user on going portrait mode altogether by bringing, just an overlay of telling, hey, rotate your screen. This is actually implemented on the Get On My level.
With the MIFCOM.
So yeah, exactly. If you go on mobile with this one, you will see that you cannot even see portrait. So it will kind of force you to go horizontal view to have a better experience.
Very good. Then we have a problem with a game controller. And that is, I noticed one thing. In walk mode, my gamepad works for walking, but not for looking around.
On the template side, right?
I suppose so.
Yeah, this is we know that because really, like, until now, like, I don't know, we support controllers, of course, X360, PlayStation controllers connected to PCs, even wireless and stuff. But in this case, if you see that you move, you will see that it's moving really slow. So it's a matter of manipulating the speed there of the controller. So you can do it either from the enhanced input, kind of the acceleration value, or you can manipulate it on the blueprint side also. But it is working. A good example is to check your controller, to go on our showcase from Epic Games, the Valley of the Ancients. And just go with the controller, you will see. It even recognizes and instead of WASD, it gives you, the controller X, Y, whatever buttons you have. But it's purely on our template side, and it's a matter of kind of controlling the acceleration.
Very good.
Yeah, this one.
All right. Yeah, I was, as you know, I send links quicker than anyone can open them.
I have Bluetooth. We can maybe just give me a sec. But you can go to the next question.
So, yes, it seems that there's a conversation starting between different front-end people regarding the question that Rafael had. I think they are working on this together.
I will grab the X360 controller. Let's try to play a bit.
Okay, so I have a rather long question here.
Bringing the Type-C cable.
Okay. So Manolis is walking away for a second, so you will have to do with me. We have 3 questions left. So for anyone who is keen to start cooking or grab a new drink, well, grab a drink from the fridge, you can definitely get now. me rambling is not the highlight of today's webinar, I would suppose. Are we good on the question that Rafael asked, or do we need to go in depth on this one? Okay, so Rafael's question was more so related specifically to JSON stuff. So I think that this is something that we can let be for now. So
for the JSON and more front-end stuff, guys, I'm more the Unreal guy.
Yeah, they're going to solve this amongst each other.
But we can hook them with our front-end guys. So if there are questions or whatever.
So if you really get stuck, just still write Manolis on Discord. He'll set you up with Max. Max can then help you. He's a front-end guy. He will be able to help you if you really get stuck. But I believe that based on the chat, you guys can also take care of this yourself. Big question in the Unreal Engine was Nanite versus LODs. How does this go with pixel streaming?
It works in terms of performance and everything. I mean, it doesn't even touch. A good example for pixel streaming is to keep the frame rates always kind of locked. Don't go crazy. Like in some nice cases, we can go 60, but it impacts also the bandwidth. Don't forget, we are streaming. It's a stream thing, so it doesn't make sense to go beyond 60 frames. But Nanite and Lumen and the whole technology, even DLSS and stuff, everything works perfectly fine.
We have two more, and Rafael is working on it. One question on the fixed frame rate is 30 recommendation in the template. In my experience, the fixed 30 Hz tick can result in time dilation whenever a frame misses 33 milliseconds. The simulation slows until the GPU catches up. With a simple cap, Tmax FPS is 30, BU's fixed frame rate is false, the engine adapts to the 30 FPS limit without bending time. Inputs feel snappier. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, 30, we say 30 to 40, it's kind of the best example and the best experience. In some cases as you know, we have Munich, now LA servers, but for some clients from India, bringing the frame rates down, it even helped on the latency side of the things a lot. It kind of made the experience better. That's why we also tell to kind of limit the frame rate if you can, and optimize your applications. But yeah, it has an impact. It can have a positive impact on pixel streaming.
Then just a question, a simpler question.
Yeah.
Are there any things that we are excited? Are there any things that Arcware is excited about when it's concerning pixel streaming too? So the plugin.
Yeah, we are close with the guys with the TensorWork team, of course, and until now there are some issues with the pixel streaming version 2. Unless you just enable the plugin and go without doing some things, you might be able to stream. Yeah, the input doesn't come. That's why we could not. Doesn't matter. But for now, there are no really updates or stuff that it's really touching the user. It's more on the backend side and the platform. So it will help us to be kind of control better the stuff in terms of signaling and stuff like that. But for the user side of the things, there is pretty much nothing that it really upgrades or supports. It's more on the provider side, like on our side. But until now, we also mention it. It's also pinned on our Discord, on the community support. Just experimental. Try it out and see yourself. It's not working properly yet. And one other thing, migrating a project from pixel streaming fully configured to pixel streaming 2, it's just a no-go. You really need to change all the nodes and stuff. There are new nodes, pixel streaming functions and stuff. And doing that, it's just a mountain of work. So it's better to start a fresh, clean project with everything with a pixel streaming 2 blueprint nodes.
Then the final question that I have from you guys, unless you come up with anything new, is the following. If I have an Unreal configurator the user switches for kitchen count material. Mr. Stream, next time make it easier for me to read out your questions, please, because there's a bunch of typos in here. Also, if I have an Unreal configurator, the user switches for kitchen count material. How can Unreal let Frontend know of this? So I can stick it in a state and work out costings at the end. Or is it better for the calculations to happen on the Unreal end of things and for it to just forward the final cost to the front end? I believe this is a kitchen configurator where you have where normally you would have a backend that is for the cost calculator.
For a proof of concept, you can go with doing some stuff in Unreal, but it's not the way to go. The way to go is to have a proper small backend, which will calculate and have the configuration codes and everything pushed, front end controlling the stuff, and Unreal keep it as less instructions as possible. And after a point, you cannot go. Unreal must be a visualizer, pretty much. No calculations, nothing, just a kind of a dummy. The more you put on Unreal side, even UI, even if you go in-game UI, if the more complex in-game UI you have, it can even impact performance. So it's the best example is to really keep it just as a visualizer. Showing the stuff, but all the calculations, all the stuff, especially in a production ready, it's a backend is the way to go.
That that was also basically the conclusion of our last webinar with Ivan, where very much the position is the Unreal Engine is for one thing, and the front end and the accompanying back end are for another thing.
Yes. For proof of concept or small cases stuff, you can do, of course, but it's scaling it, you will see a lot of issues because Unreal is not built for that, made for that.
So then, is there anything else that we can help you with? What is the difference? Someone has looked into their settings. What is the difference between Loki and 4 upload servers?
It's pretty simple if you go in our documentation. Let me go there. Where is it? So here you are. Upload servers, Thor and Loki. So Thor is EU, Loki is USA. That's that. Those are just nice code names. We have some Vikings in the team, so to say, the backend and front-end dev team. They are kind of choosing. Even our backend is called kind of Ragnarok. But yeah, that's, I guess, answers your question.
I think it does. Is there anything else that we can help with? Giovanni.
I guess Giovanni already downloaded the new template.
I think Giovanni is done after 2 hours of Unreal Engine courses.
Integrated Giovanni, and tell me, how is it? How is the experience? All good.
All right.
Thanks for coming by.
I think indeed it's time to wrap it up. So before you go, I just want to quickly say, keep liking, subscribing, etc. to all of our social media stuff. It really helps us spread the word about pixel streaming. And it helps us also to get more people on board of these webinars. The more people attend these webinars, the more we can also, invest in these webinars, take it to the next level, add more information, do them more often. So every time that you help us support our message, it also helps you again. And other than that, I just want to thank everyone for sticking with us for 2 full hours. It's amazing. This is a massive compliment towards us. We're very happy that you want to spend your time with us, more so even than going to your wife's birthday party. So thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Yes, guys. And the controller wasn't working because the setting was not enabled on the WebSDK side. Anyway, yeah.
So that's also solved.
See you next time.
Gentlemen, see you next time. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.